Hello everyone, this is Shawna again with DisruptApps LLC, and today I'm going to start my very first tutorial series that I will be putting on the internet for free. And this will be a how-to build series, which will be more series in the future, but I will start with a random content website. How to build random content websites with grammar, structure, and parts of speech. Learn the wizardry of basic language modeling. No frameworks required. Step-by-step, beginner coder friendly. And I will be using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and PHP. So let's get right into the overview here. So this tutorial series will show you how to build a randomly generated content website using basic HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and PHP. No frameworks at all. It will give an introduction in one way language models are created, operate, and open you up to understanding more complex models and how they are built, and how big tech uses your data for their large language models. An intermediate level of web development skill is recommended, but I will make it as beginner-friendly as possible for those of you starting your coding journey. The tutorial will provide great exposure for structuring and developing advanced web applications and try to give a deeper understanding of what is going on under the hood with the code. This tutorial is also designed in hopes it will inspire you to learn how to code without using AI, so that you have mastery of the technologies and not relying on artificial intelligence. This tutorial is also designed to inspire you to pursue open source and collaborative movements and projects, and inspire you to pass on the knowledge. And if you are clever, you'll find unique ways to utilize this knowledge. Myself and DisruptApps LLC are not responsible for how you use or implement the knowledge and/or code from this series. Lastly, I know this might be a little controversial statement, but lastly, I hope this tutorial series will give you the motivation and thinking skills to develop and pursue the many out-system solutions that we, the 99% working class, need to put into place before big tech destroys millions of jobs with AI, automation, and robotics over the next decade. It's going to be upon us to have our own decentralized means of production and communication that we have built and manage in place before technological unemployment destabilizes society and leads us into a blockchain, UBI, crypto, eye scanning, biometric dystopia. I know that's kind of out there, but that's just the way I feel society is going. So the requirements for when I design this project and series: simplicity. I can't stress enough coding simplicity. Lightweight, easy to understand, easy to deploy, 100% human coded, AI-free development, no AI. 2 version options. 1 for client-side rendering, meaning HTML and JavaScript, and 2 server-side rendering using PHP. Technologies: HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP. Totally vanilla, no frameworks, no package managers, none of that. Just plain vanilla HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and PHP. Randomness for the following: content, random sentence length, random sentence structure, random sentence complexity. Randomness in the way of parts of speech are utilized, meaning nouns, verbs, adverbs, conjunctions, variable verb tenses, prepositions, adjectives, units of measure, states of being, and so forth. All parts of the HTML, like the SEO, meta tags, tab title, navigation, body content, and links, are all randomized. So now let me give you a quick visual overview of what I have and what I'll be teaching you how to build from scratch with no artificial intelligence. So you can see here, I have two versions. One of them is, if you see the highlighted blue up here, is I'm using an HTML-based approach, which is the client-side rendering. And then here I have, this will be the PHP. I have a friendly URL code that won't show the index.php, but this is a PHP generated. And you can see here there's just some stuff. But first of all, let me go back up to the HTML. So you can see here, starting from the very top up here, the tab title is inflection count. That is randomly generated. Now let me go ahead and refresh the page. Quadrille delete. Mystery recognize. So you can see I've got that randomized with each refresh. And you can, and I'm sure you may have noticed, but here with the navigation bar, you can see I have all, these are all hard-coded pages, and the nav is hard-coded basically. But what you'll notice, every time I refresh the page, the order changes. And again, that is the randomized content. Let me refresh it again. And one more time, you can see that it changes. But again, this pool of titles is what will be used, but it's going to be randomized. Now looking here at the actual content, I'm going to quickly scroll real fast so you can see that I have many different titles and paragraphs here. And you can see that they vary with length. And right now I just have it set to like having 8 paragraphs. And what you'll understand how to do is you can set a minimum and maximum length. But as you can see here, the title, Campfire Obnoxious. Now that might be a cool name for a band or a project, but let me go ahead and refresh it again. Vanity Thankful. Bottle Embarrassed. Gulliver Brave. Quiver Scary. Comer Pitiful. Let me refresh again. Expiration Itchy. That's funny. Easement Fierce. Madrigal Obedient. Pharmacy Brave. And if you've noticed, all the paragraphs have varied in length. And if you'll see here, Quart, Thousand, Whining Dead, Solar, Sour, Yard, Kiloliter. So I'm not going to read through all this, but the way I coded it is that it looks random, and there's a reason why I did this, but there's an actual sentence structure that there's a variable randomized sentence structure that you'll find, and when we go over the code, I'll show you what's going on. Like billion, independent, odd, millisecond, angstrom, fierce, added degree, suggestion, massive. And then like here, purple, surprisingly nice, foot, melodic, what fit, red, dollars. So yeah, it's random, and I'm sure like if you've got a kind of a Lowe's mindset, you know what you could use this for. But again, like here in this one, future built plain sense, round, 5-year, greasy, deciding grift quart. You see that there's only this sentence is that long, and then the next sentence has a different length. And then over here, this sentence is really long. And when I built this, I looked at different, just random internet pages and paragraphs and stuff like that to see what average length sentences are out there on not blogs, but articles and stuff like that. I have different sentence lengths in there with different sentence structures, with different prepositions, and things like that. So, and then scrolling down here, we have Guild Proud Links, and here's where I designed randomized links. But these links, while on the outside they have different words. Let me refresh it again. You can see impact thoughtless links. That's cool. Impact thoughtless links. So you can see here that all of these links have different words in it, but in actuality, they're all these links are associated with these pages here, and I'll show you that here in a minute. So basically, you come in here, you refresh it again, Neoprene Grumpy, that's interesting. Contact Brave Eye Inquisitor, Development Scary Who's Fireplace, and I'll go ahead and click this one. So Goldfish Nervous. You can see the randomization of that. Search Lazy Stupor, Sportsman Panicky, Ripe Sense Out Panic Wheat, At Versus Whining Inch Nutty Six Gorgeous Plump Beautiful Gifted Sense Late Billions. Scroll down here again. So you can see that when you click it, it's going to bring you to up here products.html. So once again, all of these links actually work and they basically feed back to one of these pages. And I basically, once again, that was the HTML, the client-side rendering. Now really quickly, it's the same concept with the server-side rendering with PHP. And this is just test stuff that I was generating. But it's the same thing, random page content. And I'll go ahead and refresh it. Up here at the top, concierge, define, insurgents play, our work, our won't drink, the body card, everything explains the gallery. And so you can see here just tons and tons of random stuff. I think I have a slightly different algorithm going on here, but once again you have this content. Yeah, I didn't link it up here. I just have one page of PHP right now. But once again, let me refresh it. Relationship carry up here at the title. Throw in kilogram, Celsius, pint. Then you have all of this random stuff generated. Come down here to the links. So once again, all these links are randomly generated. So now let me go ahead and pull up my Visual Studio with the code that I've created. As you can see here, here on the left, I did this in stages, stage 0, stage 1, stage 2, and that's just basically iteration development. And pulling up here, you can see here that, I know I'm scrolling kind of fast, but this was just making sure basic things worked, making basic sentence structure. Stage 2 was building upon that and adding more and more words to the arrays here. And then more randomness, and then stage 2 was actually making what you see here. And before I forget, I forgot to mention, if you hit F12 with your developer tools, you can pull up and see what here. Let me see if I can make the screen a little bit better. So, when I design this, all the components are going to be changing. Like I said up here with the nav bar, and then a title up here, the tab title, and then the content. But also, if you look in here, up here on the right hand side in the console where the elements are, I have a head. The head section where all the meta tags are for SEO. And as you can see, just take a look. Your site name is a lively embellishment that fall all of your coat courageously and interestedly. So as you can see here, I've got all this stuff, right? Now, let me refresh it. Let me pull it up again. Your site name is a faithful orca that suggests all of your syllabic courageously, sheepishly drive as glamorous casino. Okay, and let me refresh it again. Open up the head. Your site name is a kind fiber that employ all of your compact compatriot hurriedly, vaguely support. So I've coded it to even where the meta tags and keywords. I'm sure you've noticed that the keywords have even changed. And just to look, craft, pass, crystallization, begin, eclat, reach, note-taking. Keywords, nightshirt, stay, monitor, generate, label, copy. So I put a lot of effort and thoughtfulness into making a totally randomly generated website, both for the code, SEO, titles, nav, content, and links. So getting back here to the code, real basic, I'll go over the code real quick just to show you what I'll be teaching you. Real simple HTML, and if you're a beginner, this will be great for you to know. And if you're advanced or intermediate, you'll kind of laugh at how simple this is, but you've got a head, and then For this project, I just did inline styles, nothing too crazy, a body, menu wrapper, nav items, some basic contemporary style of CSS. And then here's where all the randomized stuff is going to go. You know, you've got a nav menu wrapper, and then your randomized stuff is going to go into your root. And this is all generated by the JavaScript. And then, again, this is the client-side HTML JavaScript rendering. And then with the root, this is where all the content is going to go. It's going to be written to your root ID using JavaScript. And really quickly, with the JavaScript and the stage 2 where I'm at right now, you can see my notes that I have. And then real quickly, I went through and I spent all this time building out all these different arrays of nouns, conjunctions, simple verbs, simple past verbs. You know, I played around with doing like doing the programmatically produced past verbs with the simple verbs, but some of these irregular verbs made it kind of a headache, so I decided to just do a past verb list. But you could do that programmatically if you wanted to. Here's the prepositions, nouns. I mean, I got a ton of nouns in here that are randomly pulled. Yeah, I'm the one who went and built all this. This was not a list. I spent hours and hours and hours doing this. So let me keep scrolling here. So here's some adjectives, some color adjectives, a whole bunch of different colors, adjectives of conditions, personal states, shape and sizes, sounds, taste and smell. I mean, I'll eventually go through all of this. And then adverbs, I have a huge list of adverbs, simple verbs, ing verbs, being, having. And again, I could have done this programmatically with the verb list, but there was just too many exceptions, so I just went with a static array. And just some code there. And then getting down in here to some of the JavaScript, here's where you do the meta tags, and this is all randomly generated. You know, random function for random keywords. And then here's a self-invoked function that I'll go over. This does randomness. And I know this looks like a lot, but eventually when I build out this series, you'll understand what is all going on. And again, I built all this from scratch. I didn't use AI. So, and then once again, meta tags. I think meta tag 00 was for static, and then this 01 was for actual the one that you have now. Yeah, so head.inner HTML is that. So, and then here's the actually getting to the page content, and then here's the HTML pages array. And real quick, those pages, if you remember, here, all of these, if you look here in the console, where is it here? I'm being silly. Nav menu wrapper. Let's expand that out here real quick. Root ID. And then, where is it? I'm being silly here. All right, yeah. So all the nav items, you can see all these pages. You know, that's the one thing with this project is pulling up the domain here. Let me pull up the domain real quick. All right, pulling up the pages here. So all of these you can see here on this page. I've got about, blog, careers, contact, development, And basically all of these are calling the same JavaScript. And you can see right here what I have highlighted is the lone PHP page that is self-generating. But I'm linking to all these pages, but they use the same JavaScript code. And that's what you're seeing right here. And that ties into the randomness that I created using this index. And then here's another self-invoking function that I made it to work. And you can see some math flow randoms. And then This is a little bit complicated because the way I coded it is I use an array of arrays, which is a very interesting way to do things, but it's just the way that I've naturally designed things and work with things when I develop my websites and web applications. Then here you have function generate paragraph, and this real quick dynamic paragraph, sentence length, paragraph length, and once again I'll go over this code later on, but all of this is basically making random content. So yeah, and then way down here at the end you've got the root.inner HTML append. You're basically appending all that, and then here you're appending your randomized root menu. And that thing, yeah, down here was where I tried to do the special cases of have, make, take, coming, and stuff like that using the ing, and I did that with the ed. But you know, if you do it this way, you got to come down here and I do cases and switch statements, and you got to iterate through the list and see if it's one of these. Then you have to do a double M, a double N, a double N. You know, you got to go through here, and you had to do this same thing with the special case past tense. And I was like, nah, I'm just going to make that's why I just went with a static up here, like I did a static array, just to make it for simplicity's sake. So that's, again, this is the HTML and JavaScript rendered client side, and then here's the index for the PHP. And if you're familiar with PHP, it's kind of the same thing. You know, this is PHP code, same thing, basically the same arrays that I have for my JavaScript. And it's basically, I just took all the JavaScript type of functions and I ported it over to PHP. And then I know I'm scrolling through all this really fast, but I basically echoed it out. You know, you can see down here I echoed all of the content here to the PHP embedded in the HTML. And I echoed the content here in the root, and I echoed the nav menu here just with PHP. So yeah, this is going to be a fairly high intermediate stage development tutorial. But again, if you're just learning your code, if you're learning HTML and CSS and JavaScript and PHP, I'll do like a starter tutorial to kind of get you up to speed. And if you don't fully understand, hey, that's okay. You know, this is a process. You know, I've been doing coding on my own time and professionally, God, since 2015, 2016 now. And, you know, I've always said that we all struggle at different levels. You know, when I worked in IT and enterprise level, there was senior software developers and engineers who were cursing under their breath, and they were struggling with stuff, trying to Google foo and understanding things, and they were just struggling at a higher level. You know, I ran into this in all the companies I work for. And when you're just starting out, you're going to struggle with what is, for, you know, later stages in your career and experience. It's simple, but you're always going to struggle, and that's what makes you better. You're struggling, pulling your hair out, and then one day it clicks, and boom, it makes sense. And that is what is so cool about coding, is problem solving and then building upon that skill set so you can elevate yourself to another level and build really cool things on your own. Well, anyways, let me get back and conclude the presentation. So, and again, my name is Shawna Brooks. I'm the founder of DisruptApps LLC, and I'm here to do wonderful things with a really good company who's all about the end user and empowering end users and aspiring developers and software people and decentralists and open source people. And I just want to help humanity utilize technology to benefit humanity. So once again, thank you for your time, and I look forward to presenting and teaching you in the future. Bye-bye.